This live stream is presented to you by MaxspeedTV. All live streaming content that is presented in this telecast is owned by MaxspeedTV, Rudy Cummings, and the entire crew of MSTV. This may not be rebroadcasted, retransmitted, and retelevised without written consent. Please enjoy today's broadcast. ACOG iRacing Series round number 5 out of 6 takes us to Daytona International Speedway for the final time. We're going to be here at this racetrack for this season. Glad you could tune us here for tonight as we close out the ARCA cars here at the World Center of Racing here for tonight. My name is EZECKIEL.
And I'm Dewey Schramm. As always, thank you all for tuning in here for the broadcast tonight. And we're down to the second to last event here for the Super Speedway Series. Nope, I'm an idiot. It's the finale race.
I mean, no, it's the Daytona finale, not the Deca finale.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, you were right. You're right.
We're both idiots.
you were both right. All
right. Well, it's the last race at Daytona for this season, but the actual finale that'll be next week at Talladega. So now that we got that confusion cleared up a little bit, let's see where everybody sits here in the points. If we have a tie atop the leaderboard between Ethan Harrison and Christian Visconti, there with 138 points. Frank DeAngelis there in third, 10 points back of those two. And basically everybody in this top 5 in points aren't usually guys we typically see up front. So this, to me, is really cool that this series has allowed us to see new names and new faces up here competing for championships. And we'll see if any of those top 5 or maybe anybody in this top 10 has what it takes to win this title.
Yep, that's right. So, I mean, none of these top 5 have ever won a championship before. That is crazy. That's a statistic.
I don't think anyone in the top 10 has except Mitch.
Yeah, except Mitch Hobbs, and Mitch Hobbs is still mathematically eligible to win the title. So it's gonna be crazy. There's only 2 races left, and with the points tie for the lead, this thing's gonna come down to the wire coming out Dega, just like last season, the previous 2 seasons. This thing is it's gonna come down to whoever's gonna be up front there by the end of that white flag coming out Dega.
I mean, looking realistically, I mean, with there being 2 races left, and I think the winner can max out at about 47 or 48 points. Kiloa Hankins is 20th in points, and he's still mathematically in it too. So yeah, just a 58-point difference between first and 20th. So that's the crazy part. Literally anybody that you see on your screen right now could still walk home with this championship. And it'd be really impressive given the daunting task that running a super speedway race is. It'd be really impressive for anybody to pull it off. Even, Ethan and Christian up at the top of the points right now.
Yep, that's right. So, oh man. Looks like we hit the double zeros. So we're just going to go ahead and scoot ourselves to the side, and we're going to dive into track analysis and how this race will go for these 80 laps. So thank you all here for tuning in for this ACOG iRacing series. We'll be right back right after we tune in to the national anthem. And we welcome everybody back here for tonight's broadcast for the ACOG iRacing series. About to get set to go green here for this final race at Daytona. Not the final race of the season, but the final one here at the World Center of Racing. Getting set to go green, and super speedway racing here at Daytona. Not going to be short of exciting here per usual on the board, but we'll go ahead and pull up standings here right in front of your screen to see where everybody sits as of right now.
Yeah, and we've got 40 cars here in the session tonight, so I think we'll probably see about an even split of cars that decide to take laps and cars that decide to maybe play it a bit safe and start towards the rear of the field, because when we have these super speedway races, we typically have at least one wreck that usually happens in the first 10 or 15 laps, and when they happen, they're usually big, so we'll probably see some people trying to avoid that and keep out of harm's way for at least a good portion of the night. But we still have some people going for the pole, and right now that spot held by Lewis Galvin in the 31.
Yeah, so I think Max Urick there in the number 6 work himself around the racetrack. Urick nearly won last week before getting turned off of that 4th corner, so we hope to see that number 6 competitive and work himself toward the front. Lewis Galvin, you see right here in this number 31, he's out on the racetrack as well. He's working himself, currently 2nd on the board, as Peter Kenny in the 108 works himself to the top of the board. There's Benjamin A. White.
Good lap put down by that 108 so far, as we'll see the 15 take his 2nd of 2 laps, and it'll put him up to the top. As Connor Brandon in the 92, next up, he'll complete his 2nd lap, and just a 1,000th of a second faster there than Peter. So pretty close times we're seeing so far, but out of the 7 to qualify so far, the 15 still the fastest of them, and we'll see where Urick can slot into line this time.
Not a lot of people out on the racetrack right now to qualify. It looks like we have just about, I'd say about 7 or 8 people out on the racetrack right now. Of course, some of those people yet to log in a lap, and some of the people logged in the time not on the racetrack. So should see about, I'd say, 15 qualifiers.
Yeah, like I said a few moments ago, we're going to see about an even split here of people that are gunning for the pole and those that are going to play it safe for the time being, as Mark Frimpong works his way now into 2nd, as you have 12 cars so far that have taken a time with just about 20 seconds remaining, so we'll probably see maybe one more car complete a time here, and we'll see where the 72 of Hankins slots in after completing his 2nd lap, and he will jump from 12th to 9th, so that will be your top 12 here tonight, as it'll be Benjamin White taking the pole here for tonight's event. So that will be your 40-car grid. We'll show it to you now here on the bottom of your screen. Benjamin White, just mentioned him taking the top spot here in qualifying tonight, and to his outside, John Cannizzaro. That is a blazing fast lap for him. We'll see if he can keep it up there throughout the night.
Row number 2 going to be the 53 of Mark Frimpong. One of the final 4 is going to be competing next week for Homestead's championship prize. Connor Brandon in 92 going to be starting in 4th.
And in row number 3, Peter Kenny in the 108, and to his outside, Cole Williams there in the 42.
Got Lewis Galvin in the 31, who's going to be starting in 7th place. David Bachman in the 84, nice qualifying effort by him. He's going to be starting 8th.
Rest of the top 10, Kilo Hankins in the 72, and Max Urick in the 6. Rest of the order will scroll on the bottom of your screen, as I think only 11th and 12th took time. I believe everybody else elected not to post a time. And there's points leader Christian Visconti, your co-points leader. He'll roll off 13th for tonight. We'll see where the other points leader, Ethan Harrison, ends up slotting in to start the night. But it's a pretty deep field here for tonight. A lot of good cars, some returning names, some newer names. Should be a good one here over the next hour or so. And there's Ethan Harrison. He'll roll off 28th So a bit of work cut out for him here to start things off.
Man, looks like a 40-car field here for tonight. So all the way back to Tommy Reynolds in that number 7 to spark things off here at the Daytona International Speedway. Up front, though, the 15 of Benjamin A. White. Last week's winner in that number 15 is going to be starting inside this, going to be starting himself on top. And unfortunately, he's not one of our championship drivers. Championship contenders, I'd say. So.
Yeah, and Benjamin hasn't had the best of luck recently either. I mean, he qualified inside the top 5 last night at Las Vegas, but unfortunately got taken out of contention in an incident with Sartaj Mon just before the halfway point in the race. So Benjamin's had a lot of good qualifying runs, but he hasn't had the results to show that consistently. And of course, a lot of that really isn't his own fault, but nonetheless, we'll see where he ends up finishing tonight, though. But, of course, starting from the pole, a pretty good way to kick things off.
Yep, of course, he won last week at Talladega, so hopefully his luck turns around. I mean, his luck is turning around, finally. But he did wreck out last night at Vegas. Right alongside of him, though, John Cannizzaro looks like he is making one of his few starts here tonight.
Yeah, and qualified outside pole there in the 12 machine. So good start to the night for him as well. As again, 39 will take the green tonight. You see a couple cars here. Visconti, one of our points leaders, he looks like he's going to pit start. Urick's going to pit start. Mitch Hobbs in the 89. So both of our points leaders, as Harrison is there as well. One of the clown cars sitting there on pit road. So definitely some strategy already before we even take the green flag. And I would assume that most of those guys there on pit road will end up forming a little pack on their own and laying back for, I would estimate, maybe about half the race.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see on, where everybody will sort themselves out for the beginning of this race, especially with that many drivers, especially championship drivers, starting themselves on pit road. So should be fun to get ourselves set for 80 laps here at Daytona. 40 driver field as the pace car scoots itself left. Benjamin A. White, who won last week at Dega, will lead the field to green here at Daytona. Up and away.
Yeah, good start there for the 15 on the bottom as we take the green here for 80 scheduled laps on this 2.5 mile oval. So it should be 200 miles, I believe, is going to be the eventual distance that these drivers will run here for tonight. As to make their way out of turn 2, Lewis Galvin gets a bit squirrely there on the inside in the 31, as a couple of cars already going down onto the apron and backing out of harm's way. As Cannizzaro gets a big push on the outside from Bachmann to 3, and the 84 is going to fling it down to the low side and take the race lead.
Couple Bachmann starting from 6th spot, where he qualified himself in 6th. Looks like a couple of drivers didn't grid in front of him, so he scooted himself in 4. Oh man, big bump there. I'm not really sure who that is on the high side. That might have been Cossack, but it's hard to push. You can't even push in these cars. And that driver right behind the 12 is going to hook him.
He can't push as Cannizzaro gets hooked from second. Caution is out. Another car gets hooked. It's Connor Brandon already. And a couple other cars involved. Harry Grendel in the 70 also in trouble. And these bumpers, the front bumpers and the rear bumpers, they don't align. So you can't even push in these cars on the straightaway. And unfortunately, Josh Cossack and John Cannizzaro just found that out the hard way.
Cossack was, oh my gosh, I'm not really sure what he was doing. And we got
more trouble back here.
Yeah, still wrecking.
The 04 looks, or the 104. And there's another car around ahead of them as well. I think it might have been Frimpong, perhaps. But the first contact was between Cossack and Cannizzaro. And got him once there out of 4. Can't do that. And Connor just, he came down to miss the 12, and Harry was already there, unfortunately. So their nights are probably going to be over already.
Well, actually, the 70 doesn't look like he has a lot of damage. Ooh. He hit the wall big time, but, I mean, honestly, their body panels are still on their car. I think they're going to be able to continue.
And then Nicholas Wing in the 104 at the tail end of this. I don't know where this happened.
Frimpong!
He got he got completely plowed into there. Frimpong he didn't slow down at all. And the 104 had it completely slowed down with all the cars that were slowing down for the wreck, and nothing Europe could do either. I mean, the 53 just never slowed down for the wreck at all.
Frimpong ended up...
Wow.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that was a major plow.
Poor Nicholas Wing did nothing wrong in his car's junk. Oh. Man.
Alright, so we're gonna go on to pit road. Where everybody's trying to catch themselves up, but a couple cars pitting, Cossack's on in.
Yeah, probably an EOL penalty likely to be assessed to Cossack, so he probably figures might as well get 4 tires while I'm here.
Luckily, Cossack, you know, I mean, luckily for Connor and Harry, I don't think they received too much damage. So for that's 70, and we'll see how much damage they did receive. It looks like Harry's back end's a bit torn up, but
yeah, and we'll see how much the 92 or how much damage he got as well. And scrolling through the order, looks like Nicholas Wing, unfortunately, in the 104 is not likely over here. Jacob Oliver looks like he's already a lap down. I don't know if that was not starting or if he was involved in that. Blake Kennedy, I believe, was the car that didn't start, so a couple of them already looks like are done for the evening, unfortunately. We barely even got it started so far. But this is us talking about pre-race. We always seem to have, at least, I wouldn't say a big wreck, but we always seem to have at least some wreck in the first 5 or 10 laps. And unfortunately, tonight proved no different. Though I will say, if there's any silver lining to what just happened, it was the fact that the second place car got turned out of line, and there were only about 5 cars total that were involved in it. Because in a situation like that, that probably should have been a 25-car wreck. But thankfully it was much smaller, but a tough break for those involved nonetheless.
alright, 1 to go. Looks like Connor in the 92. Oh, he's gonna be trapped, well, not down, so. See Brinkley there. Seems as though Connor, and there's a bunch of people who decide to top off, but Connor's gonna be a lap down, but it looks like Cannizzaro is also 1 lap down in the 12. It looks like Cannizzaro actually disconnected, so he's out of it.
Man. Yeah, nothing he did wrong either.
Munoz electing for a voluntary EOL.
You know, we were talking about in the pre-race how good of a qualifying run that was for Cannizzaro, and I mean, he got basically a lap and 3/4 to show it. And unfortunately, he'll have to wait another week to try to rebound from that. But we'll go back green here. On lap 6, it'll be David Bachman, Benjamin White, Jackson Menchu, Jeremy Leto, and Sawyer St. Clair. So a couple cars did not come down pit road there on that caution, so they will lead us to the green and be scattered here in the top 10.
All right. How about that for the 84 Bachman? Nice to see him lead laps as the pace car scoots itself left. A couple of drivers blinking out. That's the 07 Amenchu. Looks like he blinked in and out momentarily, but looks like up and away here as get ourselves going here back at Daytona.
Someone up top did not get a good start at all. I think it might have been Lyons there in the 14, but thankfully with the draft, he'll get right up to the back bumper of the car in front of him once again. So hopefully we don't see too many more of those restarts like that, but no harm, no foul this time. As looks like a couple more cars will go down onto the apron, hoping to avoid another incident like the one that we just had. As we make our way down the backstretch here, and looks like Benjamin has enough room to clear the 84 if he wants to.
Look at the 6 of
And there he
Yurk.
goes.
Oh my gosh. Yurk just split the
and
middle.
look at Mitch too.
My
in the
God.
89, right behind him, there's a couple cars just shooting it right up the middle there, and each gained about 5, 6, 7 spots. But this is really going to stack people up here. This does not look good here at the line, as there's contact between two
what
cars.
a save.
Yeah, I think that might have been Rupp perhaps in the 61. We're 3x3 here in turn 1, and this is getting really dicey already.
Oh yeah, they need to organize it. There's someone who's blinking out in the midst of all of this, so you're sort of a bit confused on where to go, but right now, they keep themselves organized. The last thing you want to see is, they're gonna go 4 wide! 4 wide at Daytona! Are you kidding me?
On lap 7, we're 4 wide in the ARCA cars. They've got to get it going, and they can't. There goes one car. That's Jeremy Litto down into the inside grass. He's probably going to come back up the hill. Caution's back out. We got more cars piling in, and he gets hit hard, I believe, by the 012 of Blake Kennedy. And already caution number 2 here on lap 7. 4 wide at Daytona is just not going to work, especially in the ARCA cars.
Yeah,
man.
They started to stack up big time. You know, I wouldn't say... I really don't know who made the big move to take it for. Looks like that's the red car up on the high side, but seems as though
I think Leto came down just a little bit, but Yurk was already there. And there were a couple cars. Blake Kennedy was one of them right there, got into the back bumper of Leto. And there's the 5 of Brayson Collins, and he got just run over there trying to slow down. And he came into tonight's race, I believe, 5th in points. So not what that 5 car needs at all in terms of this championship battle. And he saw the wreck in front of him, started to slow down, and the car behind him didn't quite get the memo fast enough.
Grayson was blinking as well. I think Cole...
Yeah, I mean, that's not really... or not much really any of them, or either of them could do, rather. But yeah, I think Leto tried to slot in line behind the 15, but Yurk was already there. And Leto had it wadded down, didn't make any contact, and then right there at the last minute, Blake Kennedy, unfortunately, right into the back of him. But I think the 012 definitely got more damage from that than Leto did. So an interesting start to the night so far, as 2 early yellows here, and that's going to probably, or could take a couple more people out, as Frimpong is now disconnected from the first incident.
It looks like Frimpong is out, Canizaro's out. Looks like Brayson in the 5. He's going to go a lap down, but looking to get some damage repaired off of that exchange. 05, also a lap down. Connor in the 92 is going to get the wave around. We're still left with a fair amount of cars here on the racetrack. That's the cool thing about, you know, the new damage model. You don't get as much damage as you receive with the old damage model, so you can still easily repair some body panels and get yourself back on the racetrack.
Yeah, there's Leto on pit road. A lot of cars back on pit road again. And while we have a moment, since we kind of rushed ourselves into green, we'll take a look here at race analysis to catch everybody up, mainly because of the fuel window, because I'm curious what that is here. Obviously, 2.5 miles here at Daytona. Session time is noon. Pit road speed is 60 miles per hour in these ARCA cars, and we've seen quite a few lockups here between this track and Talladega, so got to be a bit cautious if we end up having green flag stops. And that fuel window looks like 30 to 35 laps, roughly. So since we're still on lap 10 or 11, there's still another 2 stops here before the night concludes.
Of course, these cautions are going to help, but still, regardless, it's going to be a 2-stop race. So maybe people are going to split it maybe around like every 20-ish laps. I know when the 068 is going to get an EOL. Yeah, we're about to go up and away again. Two cautions, two fairly quick cautions here off of this first exchange. So sucks to see that, but it is what it is. So. Gotta go green. Still 34-ish cars on the lead lap now. Bethune's back on the racetrack. Brayson Collins is a lap down. 14, Nathan Lyons is currently on pit road. So here we go yet again.
Green, green, green.
And back green here on lap 11. And that was not a great start there for Nick Dubern, as one car, you see there on the apron, was trying to catch up to the field and ended up passing a few people down there. So hopefully he doesn't get a black flag for that, as we're going to go 3 wide for second here into 1. And it's Sawyer St. Clair, Nick Dubern, and Josh Kosick. But they will sort themselves out, and it'll be the whole field now trying to catch Benjamin here out of 2.
Yeah, they're going to stack up here on the bottom side. Everybody toward the back trying to catch themselves up as they're going to go 3 wide for the lead. It's Kosick. The L72 is going to take it to the front. You go 105 passes off the wall. It's Dubern.
Oh, and Garrett and I think Grindle almost hit right there and pushed up into Dubern. Another close call there in the middle of 3 and 4. And after getting that EOL penalty on lap 4, Josh Kosick already finds himself back up in the lead.
Looks like the 14, Nathan Lyons, is gonna be countered upon.
And one car will drop out of line there, perhaps anticipating a wreck happening. Already had 2 of them here in the first 11 laps, as Kosick will clear down in front of the 15 there into turn 3. One of our points contenders, Mitch Hobbs in the 89, now the first car up top, as Benjamin will make a move up there to become the first car up top, as Lyons will dip out of harm's way, but it'll be Kosick at the line. Oh, nope, Benjamin got it.
Outside line surges forward to Mitch Hobbs in that 89. Oh, they're going to split 3 wide. Harry is going to fit that nose through the middle. And they're going to go 3 by 3. It's Hobbs on the high side with Dubern. Max Yerk in the bottom. And you see the 91 and Garrett Hess. He's also making a charge up there in the process, as Kosick through that top side is going to drag Harry. Harry wants to take it 3 though. And Harry's going with his old teammate, that number 70. And Grindle wants to take the lead.
Oh, and Garrett just barely scraped to the wall there as Benjamin's blinking a bit there on the bottom. And a big move early by Grindle trying to get the race lead away. Doesn't quite have the momentum up there. And at the line, it'll be Benjamin once again, but they are still all over each other right now.
In a moment since we've seen Garrett Hess out on the racetrack, but glad to see him here running through through the middle. Hobbs is going to make some leeway as he squeezes through the 105, and he might squeeze through Kosick.
And that blinking from Benjamin is starting to worry me a little bit. Hopefully that resolves itself, but the more he blinks, the more I get concerned that somebody might clear down not knowing he's there. And to the race lead is going to be Sawyer St. Clair. I believe that's the 023. The first time tonight he will lead the field here out of turn 4. But Mitch has a big charge up the high side now with help from Harry.
Side by side at the line, it's Hobbs on the high side and down low. Sawyer St. Clair making a nice charge toward the front. Up to 92, Connor Brandon. Hobbs making a daring move there down to the bottom. These drivers are pinpointing their moves, but they're scaring us up in the process as Sawyer looks like he tagged the apron. Kosick's trying to make a move on the high side, and he's going to go with Connor.
Go yeah, and Connor was involved in that first incident, and despite the damage that he and Grindle both sustained, they're both now up in the top 10 again, as I think that's Kosick. They're scraping the outside wall, and that's going to hold up the 92. Just a little bit.
All right, man.
And that's Garrett Hess, caution number 3 already. another car involved and picking up some slight damage. So another yellow here, just on lap 15.
Ooh.
And another close call while they're getting it going again.
Yeah, Hess just went straight around. I'm not sure what caused that, but I didn't see anybody off his rear end once he did go around, so that was a weird-looking incident, but we'll have to see what happened. Oh, yeah, holy crap. You talk about netcode.
Yeah, that was pretty severe netcode. I mean, that car was nowhere near Garrett at all.
And that was...
I don't even know who that was.
Hankins.
That is... Wow. I mean, nothing... I don't know who those two cars are. I can't get the numbers on them from that angle, but nothing either of them could do either. Just... netcode strikes there on lap 15. No fault of anybody. Doesn't look like Garrett got that much damage, though, so... we have trouble under yellow, though.
Classic went around. Whoa.
What the? And so did Menshu. What happened here?
Oh, what the?
Hunter Rupp just plowed Cossack under yellow. And here, okay. Oh
man.
Well, I can understand Hunter's frustration with that one. Well, now, why was DL swirly, though? Did they make contact before this? Because Josh kind of just ran him over there. Did they hit before that? But you can see Rupp clearly frustrated and upset. And showing his displeasure there times two. And unfortunately, Jackson Menshu ends up collected, and he had no part in that at all. Yikes. I mean, I totally understand the frustration that Hunter Rupp has there, but you just can't take it out that way. Because now Menshu, who had no part in that, has a bunch of damage that he didn't deserve to get. And that's the issue when you pay back drivers like that, is you run the risk of collecting innocent parties, and unfortunately that occurred here. But there's better ways to, voice your displeasure than to, junk cars that weren't even involved in it.
I don't know what Cossack was doing, though.
I mean, I agree. I don't know what the deal there was either. And then, again, I totally understand why Rupp would be upset about that.
He involved, the 07 of Menshu.
Yeah,
Menshu's he's not pleased over the radio.
I can't blame him either. I mean, he had no part in that at all, and all of a sudden he gets ran over by, two people that are, having their own issues with each other. But again, when you pay back drivers, whether it's during green flag racing or under caution, you always run the risk of collecting people like that so A, don't deserve it, and B, had absolutely nothing to do with what happened. And Menshu's just minding his own business, slowing down for the yellow, and all of a sudden he gets a rear full of the 072 car. Thankfully, it doesn't look like his damage is too bad, and he'll be able to continue without a problem. But not ideal there from Rupp or Cossack, though.
No. Again, luckily with these ARCA cars, they're easily repairable. Looks like the 5 of Brayson, though, he's gotten himself back on the lead lap. He has a lot of right front damage, unfortunately, so we'll see how much aero he's down on, as well as these other drivers who's working themselves through 3 and 4. But we've doubled ourselves up for this next restart. Now 60 laps to go. Still 33 cars somehow. With the 3 wrecks we've had, there's still 33 cars on the lead lap, and there's 2 of them that are 1 lap down, so we still got a bunch of people left in this race.
Yeah, it's been fortunate. I mean, even though we've had 3 incidents, none of them have included more than 4 or 5 cars, so they've been thankfully small incidents that haven't really involved many people. So that's why we still have that many cars on the lead lap despite some of the early contact. But out of 4 here, it'll be Connor and Cole that'll lead us back to green.
Here we go. Connor gonna hit the throttle way early. Cole gets a terrible restart. Oh my goodness. He went nowhere, and the top 2 are gonna pull away because of it. They're gonna stack up from second on back. We'll see what kind of run that Cole... Oh, Cole got turned!
Oh, jeez. And he goes around there and helps to try to merge back in line. But that's going to cost him at least 20 positions there, as Connor and Mitch have, at least for the time being, checked up. But they're probably going to get freight trained here pretty quickly. And indeed they are, as here comes the rest of the pack, looking ready to pass them.
Yeah, Cole got a wacky restart. He went nowhere, and Brinkley ended up running over that 72, so... I mean, 74, excuse me. So they worked themselves out the corner. It's Harry trying to grab the lead away from Connor. Yeah, so it looks like Sir St. Clair up there in the process, as Yurik is sort of weaving in and around. Looks like Benjamin wants ticket 3.
Yeah, it's hard to get a worse restart than Cole did, and just as we thought he had it gathered up, he ended up around. And he's got one car blinking up on the top side. I think that's Benjamin, as Connor will still lead the field here out of 2, but here comes Grindle up the top with help from Sawyer St. Clair trying to take that spot away.
Benjamin blinking there at the high side. That's worrying me. We already saw a incident with blinking earlier with Hankins and Hess, and in result, Hess went around, but looks like Benjamin, even though he has a bit of internet issues, he's going to work himself to the high side and swing it 3 wide. And looks like the 108, I think that's the 108, that's Peter Kenny. He's also going to make a challenge there with the high side. Yurik's going to split the middle. They're going to go nowhere, though, as Kenny's going to have to settle in for 8th spot, or maybe, excuse me, 9th, because Benjamin there in the 15 is going nowhere.
And there's still 3 wide down the back, as Benjamin has no help up there. So he's going to drop a couple more spots here into 3. As Grendel and Brandon are side by side here for the lead, as they make their way out of turn 4. So closely knit pack here as we complete lap 21. And it'll be the 92. Nope, the 70 gets him just by a nose there at the line.
Try it 3 wide again. Yurik to the high side. He has Benjamin A. White also in the mix. Again, with the 3 wide, and you're just trying to find your partners and trying to find who you're really going to be working with. But it's easy for them to hold it 3 wide. But once you get out of line, some close racing like this is going to definitely cause a big incident. But Max in that number 6 seems as though that 15 is doing a nice job of arrow pushing him, and they're going to go to the front. Or at least try to, but that bottom line just surged forward through the corner.
Yeah, and arrow pushing is about all you can do. Again, mentioned before, after the Canizaro Cossack incident, you can't push in these cars because the bumpers just do not line up at all. So arrow pushing is about the best way that you can make up ground, as Brandon got a push from Grindle there going into turn 1, as Yurik now leads the top side. Connor went up there, I think, to block, but it ended up costing him ground instead, as Mitch Hobbs will now assume the race lead on the bottom.
3x3 is what's Super Speedway Racing's all about. Oh man, Brandon getting a bit sideways. Looks like Harry tapped him there down the middle of the back, but pushed him enough. I mean, you just bumped him. He's not pushing him, he's bumping him enough to pull him forward. The 92 works himself back to the front, but he wants to control that outside, but Harry wants to go even further. And he's going to get taken 3 wide as Hobbs, huge run there on the bottom. He's going to drag the 011 of Brinkley also in the process.
Yeah, I think Harry's going to cost himself some ground as well, going up there, trying to take it 3 wide. I mean, they're fast enough up there to make it work, but with it being as difficult or close to impossible as it is to push, it's much harder to gain ground up on a 3rd line when you're running a vehicle like the ARCA cars. So you see the cars behind Harry, they've already gone back down to the middle. So the 70 is going to be the big loser, unfortunately, out of that. As Menshew is going to go a lap down here, unfortunately, as the leaders come up on him to complete lap 24. As he'll get out of harm's way. And it'll be Mitch there completing the lap and leading it first.
Still trying to, wanting it to take it 3 wide-ish. Themselves through Jackson Menchu in the 07 going 1 lap down.
Yeah, I thought he would be able to maybe still compete after the caution incident, but I guess maybe he ended up losing some RPM as a result of that. So he will go a lap down now, as that was Lewis Galvin in the 31, tags the wall there out of turn 4. And close racing still at the line. Connor leads the lap, but there's a hornet's nest of cars right behind him.
Benjamin's left on the high side yet again as they're getting out of line. I think Peter and Yurik both got out of line. They're trying to push that number 92 Connor to the front. Max Yurik, he's been in this type of situation before. Of course, nearly won the Dega race last week, but unfortunately just came up short. And that 6 is looking for the lead around the 92. He just has to push the 92 clear. Now he's going to have an open shot to get this lead.
Oh man, Harry and Benjamin just about doored each other right there going into 3, but they managed to miss each other at the last second. I thought that might have been a wreck, but speaking of a wreck, we got one now as Mitch Hobbs is in the wall and Blaze Brinkley joins him up there. Multiple cars take evasive action through the grass. Yurik's got a lot of damage, and that will be caution number 4 here as they complete lap 26. And Blaze Brinkley, unfortunately, his good run is going to come to an end here on the front straightaway.
Yeah, they were...
And I think the 6 just gave a bad tap there to the 89. And that's not good for Mitch because he came into tonight's race in the top 10 in points. And nothing that Yurik or Brinkley could do at that point once the wreck had started. We'll see if anybody else ended up collected in this, but it looks like it was a pretty small wreck, which, given that it started in the top 5, is almost miraculous.
Yeah, looks like the way the wreck went, Hobbs went to the high side and Yurik bumped him through off the corner, sent the 89 around, and after that Yurik trying to get the 89 off his nose, turned down into the 11, so...
Big hit for Brinkley as well. Yeah, I think Mitch saw an opening but didn't expect the 6 to have as much of a run as he did, and unfortunately, that is the end result there. As I would assume that Brinkley is probably going to disconnect. We'll see, though.
Yeah, that whole right front of his car, it's destroyed, unfortunately. So
yeah, lifted off the ground. It was a pretty big hit for him there.
Connor's on in. Pretty sure he's going to be joined with a fair amount of drivers as well, so Brinkley does disconnect clear.
And Nick DeBurn overshot his pit stall there, so that will cost him a couple of seconds. Sawyer St. Clair looks like the only car to stay out as of right now. Everybody else, though, will be back on pit road. And with 52 to go at the line, with an estimated window of 30 to 35 laps, it should be a one-stopper here once these stops are completed. And if you decide to short pit on that, it'll probably result in most of the field coming in, I would estimate, around lap 60. And if you decide to short pit, maybe 55.
Lucky dog to the 14, Nathan Lyons. He's going to work himself back on the lead that because that was a small wreck. Looks like we only eliminated one driver. That would be Blaze Brinkley, the 011, unfortunately. Not going to be a contender for this one. Jackson Menchu in the 07. He's still in this event. Jeremiah Bethune, D2 is also still in the event, but they're both laps down, both 1 lap down. So still trying to find themselves on the good side of things, but have to see though. Been fairly eventful for these first 27 laps. Luckily, again, these ARCA cars don't particularly spark big wrecks unless you're at the end of end of the race. One to go. See the 07 there on pit road as well. Not really a lot to talk about, except, you know, the situation with points. Of course, for that 77 of Ethan Harrison, he came in tonight as one of the points leaders. Looks like he did lead a lap. I think he did. I'm not really sure, but he was scored as leader across the line. But with that 77 with the bonus point, that'll mean he'll pull ahead of Visconti in that points exchange. And it looks like, I don't know if Visconti even led a lap as well.
Yeah, we'll see how that all shakes out. But here, coming to lap 30, it'll be Lewis Galvin and Connor Brannon leading us back to the green. Pace car is down on pit road, and we're off and rolling here, as we'll have 51 to go here at the line.
31 cars still on the lead lap as everybody gets themselves rolling through the first corner. So now, like 50 laps left, we should see a pit. Hopefully, these drivers could stretch it to that lap 20, that 25 to go mark. So that's when the time they're going to be able to make it to the end. Already a bit of 3-wide action toward the back. I think that's Leto there in that 068. He wants to make a challenge there. Has a bit of left side damage. Unfortunately, look how many cars dropped themselves onto the apron. We're going to go 4 wide maybe.
And a little bit of dirt tracking there by one car. I think that was Kenny. As William Schmidt there in the 79, I think, was starting to look towards the top 10. He came into tonight's race 6th in points as Cole Woody got a bad tap there from someone. And they're trying to sort themselves up back there. But we got a Hornet's Nest up front once again, as Mitch, who was just involved in that wreck, is now going to lead the lap at the line.
Oh man, that's unbelievable. I mean, I don't even know where Mitch came from. That was a weird restart. Everybody got bottled up. But luckily, we keep ourselves going. And that 89 finds himself to the front. Connor Brandon, the 92, trying to track him down yet again. Still, DuBurn, Sawyer, Grindle, Galvin, White is up there in the mix as Leto might have hit the wall.
Yeah, and it was a pretty risky move there by Mitch trying to force it the way he did, but it paid off as it got him the lap led at the line. But Sawyer St. Clair now takes over the race lead, but he might not have it for long as Harry Grindle and Benjamin White doing a good job of working together up top, and we'll see if the 70 can get it at the line.
It seems as though we disconnected the top 9, but right now all the way back to William Schmidt in that number 79. Schmidt has a run of itself, but unfortunately has to get stalled in by the number 91 of Garrett Hess. And Sawyer St. Clair works himself to the lead, but Harry led the lap.
And you saw that move there by DuBurn working his way down to the low side. And that 105 machine gets himself back in the top 5 as Benjamin flings it all the way up to the top. And I think he might be dropping out of line, but Connor Brandon will get behind him regardless of what his intentions were. And we'll go 3x3 here for 3rd place as Hess washes up big time there and almost got to Brandon.
Yeah, man, that was very, very close. Hess washing up big time, trying to latch himself to the backside of that number 70 of Grindle. Up front, though, the 03 of Sawyer St. Clair lead his first, one of his first laps here for tonight. Hobbs there in the 89, he's lurking in the mix.
Yeah, and Sawyer's done a really nice job so far tonight. I think he fell back a little bit early, but now finds himself pacing the field here on lap 33. We'll see if he can keep it up there through the remainder of the night. And down the back, looks like Hess is giving a big shot right now to Grindle into turn 3. Former teammates there in the middle groove as Benjamin and Connor still the only cars up top.
How about that? Harry, Hess, and Schmidt both running that middle line. They're also dragging Kenny there in the process. A bunch of iScar veterans in that middle line, and as well as topside. You got Benjamin making a nice challenge with the 92 Connor. Looks like Harry is going to be clear for that bottom line. Not going to take it though, as we might go for. Schmidt was picking the bottom side of Harry there for the moment, but looks like not going to take it. Schmidt's going to back out. That's going to stall that outside line momentarily and pull Sawyer St. Clair back to the front. But Sawyer is going to drop out of line, so we'll put Mitch Hobbs at the front.
I don't know if he intended to, but he's going to end up dropping back nonetheless. And thankfully, William thought better of taking it 4 wide, because that definitely would not have worked. And as it is, 3 wide's been pretty hairy so far. We saw what happened earlier when we went 4 wide down the backstretch, as Mitch will be back to the point, and it'll be Nick DeBurn behind him trying to make a move to get that top spot away.
Yeah, of course, Daytona is skinnier than Talladega. You could easily take it 3x3 at Dega, but here at Daytona, it's a bit sketchy since you don't have a lot of room. So everybody needs to be attentive and keep that wheel straight to keep yourself and your own line moving forward. As Schmidt in the 79 is going to drop out. He doesn't like what he's looking up here in this big front pack. DeBurn in the 105 is going to be the second car on the inside, but Harry's going to drop down low.
And there's still 3 wide. Kenny and DeBurn almost made contact there in the middle of the corner. They stay off each other for now, and just as I say that, they make contact again there at the pit entrance. It'll be Grindle leading the lap at the line, but a couple of close calls there between those cars in the second line.
Very much so.
Second row, rather.
Coming up on halfway on lap number 40, as you see the 15 of Benjamin A. White blinking out. He moves himself to the back and now scoots himself in line as Connor's going to make a charge to the high side, and it's Peter Kenny. Oh, that's not going to work!
Oh, no! There they go. Grindle and Hess, both of the former teammates go around here. Grindle's going to nose it into the inside wall. Garrett gets it wallowed down and doesn't hit anything. But that move by Peter Kenny just did not work. And to make matters worse, no caution comes out, so now they're going to probably go a lap down as well.
Yeah, Hess and Harry need to get themselves going. Harry finally gets it rolling.
Oh, man.
But that, in turn, has really shuffled this big pack up front. Peter's trying to clear that high side of the 03. Seems as though he's having to run as well himself.
And Lines tagged the wall in the middle of the corner, and it stalled out the couple cars that were up top. But, yeah, that move by Peter, it just did not work. And unfortunately, Harry Grindle and Garrett Hess paid the price for that. As into 3, it'll be DeBurn looking for third on that 108, with Connor now leading the top side with Peter in tow.
Peter washes up. He's going to take it 3 on Connor. Benjamin A. White in the 15 is going to be pushing the 92.
And there's Grindle in the 70. They're passing him right now on the apron. So just like that, in just 2 laps, Grindle went from leading this race to going a lap down. So his great run might be over, and I think he isn't even going fast enough to latch onto the rear of this pack. So he might go a second lap down in about 5 or 6 more laps, unfortunately.
Menchu is the lucky dog right now. That 07 is currently the last car. I mean, the first car, 1 lap down, but he's going to be fighting with the 05 of Bethune, who's toward the tail end of the pack. So those are the only 2 drivers. Might be 3 once looks like Harry doesn't even latch himself to the rear end.
Yeah,
he's too far off pace, as you said.
Yeah, and he might be down some RPM since he hit the inside wall in that incident. Garrett, again, he didn't hit anything, but Grindle nosed it in there. So might be down some RPM in addition to not being in the draft, and some net code there between DeBurn and Benjamin is going to send the 15 around, and the bad luck for Benjamin continues. Caution is out here on lap 39 at the halfway point. Schmidt, one of our points contenders, is involved as well, and Menchu, who would have been the lucky dog, now gets involved, and he's probably not going to get it.
Oh, they're still wrecking.
And the 43 goes around at the end as well, Gentry. Bethune also in there. He might not get the lucky dog either.
Yeah, it might go Harry's way, but, I mean, that was way after the caution initiated, so here we go. We'll see what happened.
Pretty sure it was netco between the 105 and the 15. And Sawyer St. Clair also gets a piece of that.
Oh,
there's
hard hit
Kenny,
for the 21.
he's involved, and they piled in some more. There are a couple other cars we didn't catch the first time. Yeah, Dubern came close to Benjamin, but definitely netcode there. They did not make contact.
Or
I mean,
yeah,
hard to tell
close.
from that angle, but I think the last one. I think the last one's a better indicator of whether or not contact was made.
I'll get a rear view. I mean, of Lewis Galvin. I mean,
And we got to look there at the 31 and see what he saw there out of his roof cam.
or I think it's going to be better to see off the 03 of Source St. Clair.
And netcode it is.
Yeah, he doored.
Dubern definitely came close, but unfortunately Benjamin had no time at all to react and try to save that car, and that put Sawyer St. Clair in the wall, and that was a big hit there for that white car.
It's Olsen.
I think that's a 21, I think.
Yeah, that was Bridger Olsen.
And he's up there in points as well, I'm pretty sure. I think he came in 4th or 5th in points tonight. And that was a pretty big hit there he took with Kenny. And somebody ran over Schmidt at the very end of that. And here's the 43 of Gentry. He just came into the picture on that previous angle, and he got tagged by Urich. So ended up being about a 10-car wreck there when it all settled down. And this will bring most of the field back down to pit road. But despite that, we are not good on fuel even with these stops.
So halfway. Bethune, I think. No, he decided to pit. So I think Harry. No, he's 2 laps down. So Harry's gonna have to.
Yeah, he lost a second one, unfortunately. So maybe there isn't a lucky dog, perhaps.
Yeah. Not sure, unless it's gonna get given next time by. Menchie thinks he's a lucky dog, but looks like it's just not gonna happen, I guess, as he's getting, you know, some fun bumps from the 92 Connor. It's Connor, Dubern, Hobbs, Harrison, Galvin. So Harrison in that 77, he's in a great spot right now. Harrison, I mean, not saying he's gonna finish there. Oh, whoa! He slotted himself right in front of that 07 of Harry. I mean, 70 of Harry. Just in the nick of time, but Harry's 2 laps down, unfortunately. But looks like since he slapped on tires on his car, he's gonna be able to you know, maintain track position for the time being. But Menchie and Bethune. Oh, now Bethune looks like he's the one who got the wave around.
So out of all of that,
yeah, even though he clipped the grass, and as you pointed out, he clipped the grass in turns 2. I mean, off of that wreck, but he still got the lucky dog. So looks like it was far enough into the caution in which he could have made contact and still got the lucky dog, or got any type of incident point and still got the lucky dog. Coming to green. 29 cars on the lead lap. A couple of them laps down. Bethune and Jackson. Harry's 2 down. And so that's 32 cars still up to speed. Here we go again. Ace car gonna scoot itself left. There it goes.
Green
Connor's
flag,
gonna hit
green
the throttle.
flag.
Back up and away we go. Dubern way up the racetrack. He's all sorts of weird sideways as Connor blocks up the high side. Now goes down low. Blocking off the restart. for that number 92, and Hobbs is trying to work himself around him.
Geez. Oh, they can't do that too many times. It's not going to end well if they do. And for what it's worth, that caution was a lifesaver for Garrett Hess because he's now back in the top 10 already in that 91 car after being spun from the top 5. So the new life here into Garrett's race. As with that wreck happening, it's put some new faces now in this top 10 as Frank DeAngelis and Jacob Oliver both now appear for the first time tonight.
Benjamin, even though he was involved in that wreck, he's making a challenge there on that third line. He has nobody with him, nor does Hobbs. So that inside line's going to pull forward with Connor and Dubern. But Connor's going to go to the high side. Uh-oh. Oh, man, he was a bit offline there with the 89 of Hobbs, but Connor keeps it straight.
I don't know if he's irritated with Mitch and is trying to keep him behind him as much as possible, or if he's just trying to block and keep the lead as much as he can, but that was 3 or 4 times that lap he came right up in front of the 89 like that, so I don't know what the potential deal there could be, but regardless, Connor trying to keep the lead away from everybody else, and seemingly, especially Mitch, as Nick Dubern in the 105 now leads the bottom side with help from Garrett, but Connor will have enough of a run to come down into 3.
And Hess is going to work himself to the top side with Hobbs. That in turn left a big hole there to the inside for the 6 of Yerk, who's now inside this top 5. So Yerk also wanting to make a challenge here on lap 45. Not a lot of cars challenging for the lead, though. Everybody still, you know, I wouldn't say still laying toward the back. I'd say half the field just laying back there, just minding their own business, 6 seconds back. They're way, way off pace back here.
May not be a bad thing for them, though.
Yeah, definitely. Especially, you know, all those moves being made. You see Benjamin A. White, he's going to work himself to the high side. But, you know, it's just a strategy. Lay yourself back, and hopefully these drivers start to wreck. And, uh-oh, Hess is blinking big time there. We already saw a netcode incident with that 91, and that blinking not helping a lot.
And we're coming up as well on 35 to go at the line. So now we're entering the high end of the fuel window for tonight, which is estimated to be between 30 and 35 laps. So I do wonder when we'll see most of the field down onto pit road to get enough fuel to make it to the end, assuming it goes green long enough for them to make green stops.
I'll have to see, though. Because again, for the pit cycle, communication is going to be key. You have to know who you're going to be working with once you hit pit road. As Hobbs is going to drop himself down low and pick up Connor Brandon and the 92. Got Hess there on the high side again. Stayed himself lead lap, and like Harry, as Connor's going to work himself up to the high. And he's going to be able to lead lap too. Hobbs got stalled big time. Connor up high, it's Hobbs down low.
And Connor didn't get enough of a run to come down in front of Mitch, so he'll have to stay pad up top for the time being.
And there's a pattern with the drivers staying toward the back. You got Tabor, Harrison, Bachman. Drivers who are up in points are laying toward the back. The drivers who have nothing to lose are running toward the front for this lead. So, especially, you know, this late in the season, only 2 races left. They gotta play it safe to be there at the end at Dega.
And Connor will lead it up the line, and this time will have enough of a run to clear Mitch on the bottom. And that'll leave Hess as the top car up top, with help now from Yurik, who despite being in an earlier incident, now finds himself right back up in the top 5 again. So quite a few cars up here now that have been involved at least one, or at least in one wreck tonight, already finding themselves back up in contention.
8 seconds back are all these drivers around. They're going to work around Peter Kenny as they scoot themselves down low. And Sarge, oh my goodness, they're all over the place back there. Not really sure what's going on, but regardless, we keep ourselves green as Connor still leads this thing, but still playing Dale Jr. As Hobbs going to work himself down low. Oh, they're going to sandwich with Hess. As Yurik in the 6, sort of bottled up there with a 15 of, looks like Benjamin A. White, but now has a bit of room to make it 3 wide. We'll see if the 6 is going to take the run to the high side and swing it around in 91. And Hobbs goes in the middle, so Connor gets a taste of his own medicine, and it might cost him.
Oh, man. And into 3, Mitch washes up a little bit there and almost gets into the 92. The 3 wide behind them for 3rd, as Urich now leads the top side. And got a couple moves towards the back, but at the line, we might go 3 wide for the lead here if Urich can get enough to run.
I think that was a 72. I'm not really sure. It was a car in the 70s who dropped to the apron. Not really sure what with that, but 3 wide for the lead. And Benjamin gets into the outside wall. I think he got a tap there from the 91, but he keeps himself straight for somehow. I cannot believe Benjamin kept him straight, but he dropped way, way back. He's trying to find himself in line, and they're going to scramble up front because of it.
Yeah, good thing Benjamin saved it, even though it's going to cost him a couple of spots regardless. Still side by side for the lead here through 3 and 4. It's been Mitch and Connor for a good chunk of the race tonight. No different here right now, as we'll have 30 laps to go here at the line.
Yeah, even though these ARCA cars tend to, you know, swap places up front a ton, Connor, it's been Connor and Hobbs for the whole entire race for right now. But again, got the back half of the field still yet to make a charge here for this top spot. So I'll have to see on how it'll all go, as Hobbs going to make another run to the high side. It's going to be the 91 of Hess. Gonna pick him up. Got Benjamin, Urich, and looks like St. Clair also in there as well. How about the 31 of Lewis Galvin? He led a lap earlier just by staying himself up front, but Lewis Galvin has made himself nicely into 7th place.
I think he qualified towards the front as well, so been an up and down night for him, but now finds himself in a pretty good spot here as this race starts to enter the later stages. As we'll go 3 wide for the lead once again. Garrett, for right now, has no help but over reinforcement in the form of Sawyer St. Clair, now coming up to his back bumper, and we're still 3 by 3 behind the 89.
Yeah, man, they're starting to stack as you see a lap car. As Connor wants to get out of there. He doesn't want to be a part of that mess. He gets himself behind the 07 of Jackson Menchie, who sort of flinched looking at his left side as Connor came up the racetrack. But how about that? 91 to Garrett Hess to the lead.
Yeah, Menchu's still a lap down, I believe, unfortunately, as we got 3 wide once again there, with Sawyer St. Clair now by himself in the middle as Hess found an opening and got underneath Mitch, and now it'll be the 89 pulling out of line, and he'll lead the lap at the line. So Mitch and Garrett essentially swap places here to complete lap 52.
Oh, man, big door there by the 15 and 89. It's Benjamin blinks out yet again.
There he goes. Caution's going to come back out here as we accidentally pan the camera the wrong way. Sawyer St. Clair involved once again, as is the 6. Hopefully nobody else got involved in that, as Urich is still rolling down the backstretch.
Yeah, looking at all the cars working down low. I think he's just trying to find a way to turn around, but 42 is not making it good for him.
Jeez. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, Cole's just pushing him out a whole back straightaway for right now.
Well, while they get that sorted out, we'll take a look here and see what happened to bring this caution out, as they're still... Oh, man. Might have set a new record for the longest time ever spent in reverse at Daytona. As into 1, there's the initial contact between Mitch and Benjamin. He blinks out, and then Sawyer came up and tagged the 6, though I think there was some neck code there. Galvin and Cole also end up involved. Grindle does a good job of getting it slowed down and out of harm's way.
Yeah, it looks like that's on the 03 of St. Clair. Had a lot of bottom he could have worked with, but unfortunately just washed up in the 6 of Urich. And around he went. But luckily, I don't think... Ooh, maybe the 42 might receive some RPM damage off of that.
Nice job by Nathan Lyons in the 14. Got that thing slowed down enough right as Sawyer slid down the racetrack. And now with this caution, this will put everybody good to the end on fuel, assuming that they do come down pit road, and I don't see why you wouldn't at this point. So we'll likely see pretty much everybody coming down in for what should be their final stop of the night, as we'll probably have about 22 or 23 to go once we get back green.
Alright, so looks like Gentry in the 07. No, not what the Gentry in the 07. That's Menchu in the 07. Is going to get the lucky dog. Or it might have been Bethune. I'm not really sure. It looks like Bethune's going to hit pit road, so it's going to be the 07. Finally working himself back on the lead lap.
Took him about 25 laps, but finally gets there. And no better time to get there than now.
That's right. Grindle in the 70 is still 2 laps down, trying to stay himself out, but unfortunately, well, actually, he might have put himself in front of the leaders. But Harrison in the 77, he stayed out, so that means Harry is still going to be trapped 2 laps down. But Harrison probably going to hit pit road second wave. And we'll see how it works for Harry to get one of his laps back. Harry's pretty close on fuel as well, so pretty odd for him right now. And reset ATVO, of course, lagging per usual. Apologies about that, but get that back and going. And there we go. Now just joining us here for tonight, ACOG iRacing Series. Live on MaxspeedTV. Better go green. Looks like Harrison does scoot himself left. Bridger Olsen, who hit the wall really, really hard. At 21, seems as though he's... Oh, no, he's 11 laps down, but has that car repaired. And Harry is going to take a wave around. I mean, not the wave around. Yeah, he is going to take the wave around, so... Stacking up again, and have to see on how it all go. Because we're coming down to 20 laps to go. It's just about a C-fix race from this point forward, so it's going to be a dead sprint, seeing who's going to come up top.
Good old C-fixed.
Yep.
Weird to think about sometimes that at one point these cars were the B cars.
Yeah, that's right. Well, not only that. Oh yeah, they were the B cars. I was about to say they were also the A cars, but that would have been like all the way back in 07. And iRacing was invented back in 08. But for they ran the old cot back in 09-ish with the little braces on the bottom. Bottom car of the racetrack. I mean, bottom car of the racetrack. What am I saying? Bottom of the splitter.
Yeah, iRacing, bring back the winged COT challenge, please. Signed, cool. Lots of people. I don't know about you. I would love to see a fun series on here with the winged COTs. Those things would probably go about 230 around here.
Hell yeah!
And it'd be one hell of a time.
Mm-hmm.
But for now, the ARCA cars, it will be, and you see a lot of the cars single file back there. That is because they came back and topped off on fuel, coming to 1 to go. Green flag back out here. We'll have 24 laps left at the line. Mitch Hobbs and Garrett Hess. We just do it.
All right. Already got that car working themselves through the middle. I think it's Peter Kenny trying to make some headway through around Cole Woody. Maybe the 14 Nathan Lyons as Peter cuts down low, but up front, though, they're stacking up for the lead. Stacking up big time at the bottom as Dubern in that 105. And the 15 of Benjamin A. White. Holding bottom. Benjamin's going to split the middle, and Dubern is being... Uh-oh. Oh, Benjamin was patient there. He's going to scoot himself back to the bottom. And Connor looking through the middle.
A lot of action further back as well, as the whole field is going to start to stack up on itself since all those cars started single file. So it would not surprise me if we have another incident here in just a handful of laps, because they're all over each other from about first all the way back to 25th.
Yeah, that's right. If there's... Oh, we got a wreck! Thor, got big one!
Huge wreck here. Sawyer St. Clair, the 11 cars in that. Bethune looks like he got a piece of it. And just as we were saying, when the field stacks up like that, it sometimes leads to a big wreck, and voila, there we go. And the biggest wreck of the night by far, here on lap 58, we'll get a look and see what happened, but I cannot say I'm surprised.
Yeah, that was toward the back as well, so, that's a lucky break for Grindle in the 70.
Agreed. And this was a pretty sizable wreck, and Urich just came up and got... Oh, I think I know why that happened.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was likely for the contact that brought the previous caution out, because St. Clair got into the back of Urich on that one. And just as we saw earlier, when Hunter Up retaliated against Josh Kosick, it resulted in Jackson Menchu being involved, and this time, Urich retaliated against Sawyer St. Clair, and he ended up taking about 10 other cars with him that didn't do anything wrong, so a tough break for everybody involved. Ryan Kane was one of them. Bethune was another, but we'll get another look at it here and see who else got collected. But I think the picture tells the story here.
Gets disqualified for too many incident points. Everybody just piles in, but luckily I don't think anyone received, you know, a bunch of damage off of that. I mean, 03, he looks like has a right front flat. Maybe that right front's destroyed, I'm not really sure. But
the 07 ran over there.
Maybe
Richard
the 8.
Olsen. Yeah, Olsen's in that, and I don't remember off the top of my head who the 8 car is.
That's Henry Tabor.
But St. Clair, a lot of damage to his car. Saw Menchu ended up getting into Tabor as well, so about 7, 8, 9 cars end up with damage, and there's Grindle in the 70 getting his lap back. So that'll put us back under yellow here, and we'll probably go green with about 18 or 19 to go. And it'll be a pretty exciting dash to the finish once we get there.
See, I'm just pretty sure all these drivers who were involved in that wreck, except maybe Menchu, might be able to continue on, but huge break there for the 05, who's probably going to get the wave around unless he was involved. Harry Grindle. No, it looks like the lucky dog went to Grindle. So Grindle's going to work himself on the lead lap. Okay, and so Hobbs front. You got Dubern on second, Hess in third, Benjamin, Leto, Brannon. Man, still got a bunch of people still, you know, in this event. Drivers we haven't really talked about now working inside this top 5. Muñez is in here. Peter Kenny was up there, but looks like he went on pit road. Kame is up in the mix. He was involved in that incident, actually. It looks like he repaired his car. So we're left with 29 cars in the lead lap.
Alright. So we'll go back to green here with 20 laps remaining. Hobbs and Dubern on the front row. Hess and Benjamin behind him. Connor rounds out your top 5. Green flag back out, and Dubern did not get going at all. And that'll be a benefit there to Hess on the bottom in the 91.
Yeah, we'll see if Hess could scoot himself up, but Hobbs is going to be blocking. Hobbs is going to pick up Connor Brandon, so Hess has to box in the 92 Connor as much as he can to keep Connor from swinging out to make it 3 through the middle. Hess is not doing as much as pinching as I thought. Dubern in that 105. Looks like all over that 91. They're going to take it maybe 3. They are 3. They're going to squeeze between Benjamin. Connor tried to take it 3. Not going to work.
And I don't know if they have the space for that because they came really close to wrecking right there. Got to keep in mind there's still 19 laps to go. I mean, I understand the urgency, but, you know, it's not quite 5 to go yet. So hopefully we don't have a big wreck with this many laps remaining, but with the way these guys are racing, wouldn't surprise me if that one does happen.
19 laps to go. 27 cars on the lead lap. That's the most amount of cars that's been on the lead lap in a while, especially with less than, 20 laps to go. So, got a huge fight for this top spot. It's gonna be madness once we hit 10 laps to go, as Hess is gonna clear down to the bottom. Benjamin's blinking out a ton. They're gonna take it 3 on him. Oh, Benjamin off the track!
Hess and Benjamin both end up in some trouble. The 15 ends up in the wall, but he holds onto it again. It's the 3rd or 4th time he's ended up in the outside wall up here. But you see the detriment there. It drops about 4 or 5 spots. He'll slot in line around 10th place.
And Eduardo Munoz Jr. works himself into 3rd. Where'd he come from?
And he's going to help his teammate Connor Brandon try to get the lead away from Mitch, and he does so successfully. They're 3 wide behind with Menchu, Lyons, and White coming out at 2.
Oh, man.
And there goes Mitch.
Mitch goes to the middle, but Eduardo goes higher, and he's going to pick up Benjamin. I mean, we'll see if he can clear. Looks like Hobbs is clear Connor. And Eduardo's going to be playing. Oh, Dubern got the wall. Keeps himself straight.
Almost got it again.
17 laps to go. Eduardo gets dipped out. Oh, that's frustrating.
Oh, and he tried to come down in front of Grindle, but the room wasn't there. Thankfully, he realized that he was there at the last second and got out of harm's way, as somebody just had to go under the apron to miss a car that just came off pit road. I don't know what that was, but a disaster reverted there towards the rear, as we're still side-by-side down the backstretch. Garrett up top and Mitch on the bottom.
That was Frank DeAngelis, who just got disconnected, unfortunately. Looks as though internet issues on his part. He works himself back in it. But 17 laps to go. Man, I don't know. I don't know. There's a bunch of people still in this mix. This is making me nervous. I'm sort of at a loss for words because it's been a while since we had so many people up here in the fight for the lead. Like, look at these people. They're now, people we haven't talked about are now working themselves into the mix. Lewis Galvin, again, he was running inside the top 10. He's on the bottom. The 14 and Nathan Lyons, he came out of nowhere. We saw him pit earlier. Now the 07 of Menchu is also in there. And behind Menchu, it looks as though, oh man, they're blocking for the lead. This might be bad.
Uh-oh. This is the ticking time bomb. It's a matter of time before something gives and a whole lot of people end up in trouble. And look at Grindle up top. He's making a charge back up here now with help from Dubern on the top side. And coming to 15 laps to go, we are 3x3 for the lead.
Yeah, and Harry, he was the lucky dog. The 70 has worked himself to the back of the field, now up front beside his number 91 of Garrett Hess. 3 wide still. And Hankins is up in the mix. Got more new names working themselves. There's Lyons through the middle. Again, we talked about Galvin and Menchu. Looks like the 11 of Ryan Kame is snuck up in there. The 18 of Jacob Oliver, he's also in the mix. Looks like Schmidt there in 79. He's running at the tail end of this pack. But up front, Harry, who got the lucky dog earlier, is going for the lead.
And the last time that Harry and Garrett were both up here in the top 5, they got spun out of line and no caution came out for it. So hopefully history doesn't repeat itself for those two. As you make our way to 14 to go, it's going to be Mitch at the line. And considering he came into tonight's race, I think 9th in points, this right now is great for him in trying to capture another Super Speedway title.
Peter Kenny sort of holding a bunch of people back there toward the back, but up front, Hobbs, Harry, top 2, side by side for the lead. It's the 15 of Benjamin trying to push that inside line forward. Of course, you can't push in these cars by means of push, trying to arrow these cars forward. DuBurn might split Harry, and not Harry, but Hess 4 wide with Lions also peeking there in the mix. Not going to work. We're still 3 wide though. DuBurn gets stalled out for the moment.
Yeah, we'll see if him and Hankins can get another run up there, but it's only the 2 of them right now, so the third line probably going to dissolve here for the time being. But it's Mitch and Harry still side by side for the lead. And I wonder if that second pack is starting to catch this lead one.
Yeah, I mean, they've separated themselves big time. There's at least a second gap all the way back here to looks like Patterson in that 0-2. It looks like they caught themselves to the lead end of this first pack. So they're gonna have a big run with looks like Harrison, Brayson Collins there in the in there. 0-12. Blake Kennedy still trying to work around Peter Kenny. It's fairly slow still. Oh, DuBurn caught the outside wall.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few people end up getting that outside wall, especially on corner exit in 2 and 4. See it again right there, as 12 laps are left here tonight. And it remains to be seen if every car you see in your camera shot right now will still be running when those 12 laps are completed.
27 on the lead lap right now. We'll shuffle out where once this checkered flag does fly. Get 3 green-white checkered attempts. We had to use all 3 at Dega the last time in race number 2. So who knows on how this will all turn out by the end of it. Up front, though, it's Hobbs and Harry. Nobody's been ambitious to maybe swing it out 3 wide. Maybe they've all organized themselves to sort of stay in line. But now DuBurn's going to make a charge there on the high side. Nobody goes with him, though.
Yeah, DuBurn was the car up there a couple laps ago, and there was last 3 wide, and looks like he's going to be the only taker for right now. So that's going to cost him some spots in all likelihood as they make their way down the backstretch. But I would expect there to be 3 wide again before this race ends, but I think it's not going to happen until probably 5 or 6 laps to go. So I think DuBurn might have jumped the gun there on that one.
Hobbs already a winner this season. That 89's been in victory lane here in the Super Speedway side. He's looking for a second. But Harry's trying to deny him. Benjamin also looking for a second win. Won last week at Talladega in the trucks. And that 15 looks for another W. The World Center of Racing. 10 laps to go this time by 10. And it's DuBurn still by himself on that high side. Very surprised nobody is really taking the bait to go up with DuBurn just yet. It might be Hankins. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, like I said, I think they might be waiting till 4 or 5 to go before they decide to take it up there. As DuBurn slots himself back into the second line. Grindle getting a nice push there from Hess down the back. He led the lap last time. And they're still even here through 3 and 4. The inside's going to get a bit of ahead, or get a bit ahead rather, here out of turn 4. But we'll see if Garrett can push Harry enough to get him even at the line again.
At the line, side by side for the lead, but you see that inside line surge forward. Right now, it's still Hobbs. But Harry could, of course, deny him on that run to the checkered flag. Hobbs could lead all the laps except the last one and lose this race.
Yeah, I'm sure he wouldn't like that. We'll see if he can keep it up there, though. He's led a good chunk of the laps tonight. But can he lead the most important one, the 80th and final one?
I'm not sure. Hobbs is mirror driving. And that's a really good Super Speedway racer right behind him. That 15 of Benjamin A. White. I think that's what Hobbs is sort of worrying about. That 15 of Benjamin's going to be a huge threat for this win. As DuBurn looks like he got shuffled out of line in the third lane. Hankins looking up there to maybe take it 3. And indeed he does so. So now we got a third line as Galvin way up against the barrier as Hankins might have blinked out. Oh, Benjamin gets turned!
Connor gets into Benjamin, and how in the heck did he say that?
No, there you go.
43 spins, that's Landon Gentry, and another car goes around, that's Minshew. He's still trying to gather it up, and no caution either, unfortunately, for him.
Oh my gosh.
It's close, but look at what it's done to the main pack. Here comes
now
Nathan
caution.
Lyon, and now the caution comes out. And I think you may have had a secondary wreck, and indeed we have. Henry Tabor in the 8's got a lot of left front damage here. And this is going to set us up for probably a 3 or 4 to go restart. And we're going to have to look at multiple replays here to see what all happened.
And Tabor is one of our, I wouldn't say championship drivers, but he was one of the drivers, you know, up in there. He was all the way in the back when this thing...
And this must have happened at the very end, but
yeah.
The first contact, I think, was Connor and Benjamin. The 15 saved it, but it got everybody all sorts of squirrely. Gentry got turned somewhere in that, and Menchu had nowhere to go. We'll see what exactly happened to the 43. But I think Connor said it.
Oh, Benjamin blew a motor! Right there.
No!
Yeah, Benjamin blew the motor.
Oh.
And everybody started to check up, so Benjamin
Look at that save, though.
And then it was the Ryan Kane who ran over the 43.
Oh, poor Menchu. But, I mean, props to Benjamin, though. I mean, blowing a motor in the top 5 and did everything right there. Menchu came back. Oh, that's what happened. So Menchu was trying to come back up the hill, clipped Benjamin, and unfortunately also got into Tabor, who plowed into the 07. And, of course, he's still going to be going full speed because the, no
he tried to
caution
lock
had
it
come
down,
out.
too. And I don't think he expected Benjamin to be there because Benjamin blew the motor, so it's just sort of a racing deal.
Yeah, they both did everything they could, but unfortunately it wasn't enough to prevent Henry Tabor from getting involved. But, I mean, the bad luck just continues for Benjamin. Ran up there all night, qualified on the pole, led a bunch of laps, stayed up there a lot tonight, and the motor goes with 7 laps to go. I mean, like, what else do you have to do? The amount of bad luck that Benjamin has had is almost indescribable.
But he won last week, though.
Unfortunately for him, it continues. I mean, yeah, he won last week, but I mean, if you take that one away, it's unfortunately been a pretty decently sized streak of, subpar finishes for things that were not his doing at all.
Yeah, that's right. Just unfortunate.
And had a great chance to repeat and win again tonight, and unfortunately his engine said, nah. Just again, what else does he have to do at that point to, get himself in position to win? Did everything right and got let down by his engine, so
that took 3 drivers out. Tabor, Gentry, and Benjamin for sure out of this race.
But look at what that did towards the front. With all of that swirling and everything trying to get around Benjamin and his blown motor, Nathan Lyons, I think, was 9th before that happened, and he's now sitting in 2nd place.
Yeah, that's right. You saw him start to weave himself through and gun for the lead, but then the caution came out. So
yeah, I think he would have gotten the lead if that didn't happen.
Yeah, that's right. And man, yeah, we definitely have some new names work themselves into the picture. Bethune in the 05 finally caught his lucky dog, so seems as though we're gonna get a 4 to go restart. It's Harry who's gonna elect the high side off the restart.
That's interesting.
Yeah, Harry.
That is an interesting choice there. And usually everybody picks the inside, but I think it might be because he wanted to have Garrett behind him, an old teammate of his, instead of Dubern. So it could be a personal preference thing there for Harry.
Yeah, so I think Harry and Hess are on mutual terms
in
right
agreement
now.
About that.
Right. So they need to work with each other to pull themselves 1 and 2. So what Harry needs to do, he needs to be in some type of voice chat, time that restart out well with that 91 so those 2 could get clear. But of course, you can't really push in these cars, so it's going to be hard for Hess to even slot himself into a good position. So going to be very, very interesting to see on how this turn out. But the young guns of Nathan Lyons and Nicholas Dubern are going to be on the low side and have to see on how this will all go. So it's team versus team on the bottom, young guns on the bottom, and I think Weeb Squad up top. Plus Hankins. if Hankins is playing some type of factor into this. But here we go. 25 cars on the lead lap. That's so many cars on the lead lap. That's insane. Pace car's in.
Green flag.
Green.
Flag.
And Harry, he did not get a good restart, but it doesn't really matter because he knows for sure that Hess is going to work with him.
Still side by side, but I mean, I understand Harry wanted to have his old teammate behind him, but I just don't know if that's going to work with how dominant the bottom is.
They're starting to stack up. Duburn got a bit sideways.
They are.
Oh man.
Oh, this is not looking good here. They're going to go all sorts of places here down the backstretch, as it's Harry and Garrett on the top and now down to the middle. Nathan Lyons leading the bottom in the 14 with help from Duburn. Hankins trying to make something work in the third line, and as of now, he's got no help at all. And he's also blinking up there, so the third lane probably isn't going to do much of anything here over these last 3 laps. But at the line, I think it's going to be Grindle. But can he stay there? And look at Peter Kenny making moves on the bottom in the 108, getting in the top 10.
For the lead, 6 cars showing on your screen as you see the 14 Alliance get.
Duburn got into Grindle. He gets contact with Leto, and Grindle gets hit again by Cole Woody. And there's more cars trying to scatter around. No caution as of right now, as everybody kept it straight. But Grindle, unfortunately, goes from the lead to likely out of the top 20 through no fault of his own.
29 has a tire problem.
That's Munez.
Yeah, his whole right front's tore up, and he's still on the racetrack.
And there's Grindle as well with all the damage he just sustained.
And
but
look at that.
The top 4 are gone.
They're gone.
It's Lyons, Hobbs, Hankins, and Duburn. And then there's Schmidt, Woody, Leto, and Ryan came in those next 4 cars. We're going to see if they can catch them, as Munez is going to try to limp it back to pit road. But it's down to under 2 laps, and here come those next 4 cars. They have a big head of steam. Will they flip it up top and take it 3 wide?
No, they couldn't. I think Schmidt's going to get boxed in.
Uh-oh.
Schmidt should have went up to the outside line and take it 3 wide. Now he has a shot to, and
Leto.
Here comes Leto.
And nobody went with him, though.
Oh my god, I can't believe nobody went with him. Oh, Dorbigan!
Lyons and Hobbs make contact. We're 3 wide for the lead, coming to the white flag. But will they make it to the white flag?
I'm pretty sure they will. So it's going to be between Hobbs and Lyons. Lyons looking for his first ever, as Leto gets stored up the racetrack by Schmidt. White flag.
And into turn 1, we got about an 8 or 9 car breakaway here up towards the front. It's Mitch Hobbs on the bottom.
Now got Hankins up there.
On top. We'll see if Schmidt can push him enough down the backstretch. Cole Woody jumps up there in the 74. Leto and Connor Brandon trying to make a move back there, but not a lot of room to do it. Mitch is going to block, and he's almost got turned by the 14.
That might have cost him.
Yeah, here comes Hankins on the high side into 3. Mitch should be thanking Nathan Lyons he let off there and didn't turn him, because if I was him on the last lap, I wouldn't have let off. But out of turn 4, it's side by side. It's Mitch, and it's Kiloa. What's the swing for Schmidt? But he gets turned. Oh, wreck! They're saving it. They're side by side, and Mitch holds on and takes the win. And a huge crash to end the race.
How in the world does not Schmidt, but Hobbs hold on as they're flying to the line. 3 wide again.
And Mitch won again. I mean, what a move there. Mitch Hobbs does it again, and that is going to be huge for him in the points. What a finish.
Man, that was really all decided on. It's usually decided on that second car in line, but
wow. What a finish.
It came down to that third car.
I can't believe they
Schmidt.
all saved it, though. Like, Schmidt and Connor had a huge run up top. But before we get there, we'll get a look at the first part of this last lap. And what a last lap it was.
And
I mean, Leto had a good chance up there. Now there's Mitch. He comes up and tries to block Hankins, and right there I thought he was going to get turned by Nathan Lyons, but the 14 did him a huge favor and let off and let him come back down in line. And then out of turn 4, you're going to see Schmidt come up to the top side and get a big head of steam from Connor Brandon right there. He pulls out at just the right time, gets a huge head of steam up
Oh,
top,
he got
and
pushed
unfortunately,
sideways.
yeah, Connor gave him too big of a
Pushed
push.
sideways,
And
I mean.
right here, I thought they were all going to wreck and that Connor was going to win, but they all managed to save it, and Mitch gets it by that much, and Nathan ends up finishing 5th in the grass. But what a finish it was, and they wrecked hard once this thing finished. I mean, it got nasty right here.
Yeah, of course, everybody just trying to fly to the start-finish line, get themselves going. Big hits as everybody works themselves through.
Jeez. Oh, man, Peter got clobbered a couple times back there, but when the dust settled, it was Mitch Hobbs. The Super Speedway magic strikes again for that 89, and he takes another win here on the high banks of Daytona. And man, what a last lap we saw there.
Yeah, man, and we're going to show full results here. After 80 laps of racing, somehow we made it all 80 through. Without a green light checkered, Hobbs, Hankin, Schmidt, Brandon, Lyons. Top 5, Woody, Kame, Duburn, Leto, and Hess. Top 10.
And notice this. Ethan Harrison came into tonight's race, your co-points leader with Christian Visconti. Ethan only finishes 15th. I don't know where Visconti finished, but this is really going to shake up the points going into the finale next week, as it'll be Josh, Jacob, Peter, Jeremiah, Ethan, Cole, Brayson, Lewis, Harry, and David Bachman, 11th through 20th. And we'll see where Visconti finished, but again, this is really going to shake the points up. Blake Kennedy, Tommy Reynolds, Mark Austin, Eduardo Munez, Frank DeAngelis, Jackson Menchu, Benjamin White, after winning the pole and leading all those laps, Blown Motor puts him in 27th. Landon Gentry and Henry Tabor, and then Christian Visconti, who again came into the night's race with the points lead with Harrison, a disappointing 30th for him.
Got Sor St. Clair, Olsen, Brinkley, Canizaro, Frimpong, Wing, Uric, Cossack, and Rock rounding out the rest of the order. Also, Tara Brinkley, unfortunately, not able to race because of your suspension, but Hobbs, in the meantime with that, he's doing burnouts here in the front stretch.
Well-deserved burnouts. He had a whole lot of laps tonight, and the most important one, the last one, he also led. And there we are. We'll be back though in a couple moments. The show is not quite over yet. We'll be back here in just a few moments here with post-race interviews, including with your race winner, Mitch Hobbs.
And we're back here live, post-race coverage presented to you here by MaxspeedTV. What a finish. Pull ourselves out here at Daytona. We'll go ahead and drag in that number 89 of Hobbs into the booth. He's going to bring himself a third into points. Hobbs, got a copy?
I gotcha.
Congrats on your win. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, that was interesting. Didn't expect it, but we ran really well. I mean, we swept the ARCA cars in this series, which is pretty cool. We were up front most of the race. We stayed clean for the most part. I made a lot of crazy moves and I didn't get wrecked, so that was quite shocking. But we were there at the end, and I said there was two ways it was going to happen. I was either going to get wrecked by Harry because he was pinching really hard, or I was going to somehow come out with a win. So it was a good race. Everyone raced not too terribly. So yeah, I appreciate that.
All right, about 10-4 Hobbs rounds himself up top after leading 25 laps. Before I let you go, and just want to take care for tonight.
Yep, just huge thanks to everyone at Nebula Esports. Want to shout out Ko. He was a great pusher in the end there, and was working with Dog for a while. So shout out to those guys. All
right, about 10-4. That was Hobbs in the number 89. We'll go back to Hankins in the 72. Unfortunately for Hankins, rounds himself out second. Only led one lap, but Hankins, you're second. You were close there at the end. Talk to me about it.
Honestly, I didn't expect to get this far. I thought I'd kind of wreck out on lap 10 and be done with it, but honestly, it was kind of a fun race. If my laptop's graphics cards didn't die 5 times throughout. It was fun to push Mitch up there when they wrecked with 3 to go. I was like, yeah, I'm full sending it. Just got to go through. And yeah, I guess I ended up second. I kind of knew Mitch was going to take the win when the 79 went high off the final corner, but he had to do that. He wanted to win that bad, so I don't blame him for it.
Yep, that's right. It resulted you in a second place finish here for tonight. Unfortunately, not in contention for the championship next week. Where are you going to look forward to coming Dega to sum up the season?
I mean, it'll all depend if I make it. If I make it, I'll just try to race everyone clean and try not to wreck anyone. That's basically my goal, and hopefully make some alliances along the way.
All right, bud. 10-4. That was Kilo Hankins in this number 72. Rounds himself out second. But before I let you go, any sponsors want to thank you for tonight?
I mean, I'd just like to thank everyone that everyone that I worked with throughout the race. I wasn't really in a call or anything or in a team this race. I was just kind of by myself. So I don't know. I'd just like to thank everyone that I raced against. And yeah, and thank you guys for broadcasting and all.
All right, bud. 10-4. That was Kilo Hankins in the 72. We'll go ahead and see you coming next race, man.
Have a good night.
Dragging one more person into the booth. That will be the number 79 of William Schmidt, who's going to be second in points coming to next week at Talladega. He's going to go against Ethan Harrison to pick up his, I think, second Super Speedway title. I'm not really sure if he picked up one, but regardless, Schmidt, you round yourself out third. You made a daring move there off of 4, but unfortunately it just didn't pay out. Talk to me and walk through that whole entire final lap.
Well, see, I don't know whether it was 2 or 3 to go when Harry got turned in front of the field, but I thought that was going to be yellow. Then it wasn't, so I had to, start picking it up again. I believe I got there around 2 or 3 to go. Tried to stay in line, see if that would go anywhere. It didn't. I went to the outside and was going to try to push Ko all the way through the finish. Then I saw Connor come up behind me with a massive run. I figured, hey, if he pushes me just right, I might be able to go around these guys and, steal a win. Then I tried to move up in front of him, and I guess he just didn't push me square, and that knocked me out sideways. And I tried coming back down in front of him, and I don't know, that whole little debacle happened. I lost all my momentum, but yeah, I guess third is all right after all that.
Definitely. You started yourself from 19th. I was curious on who you were working with through that whole entire race.
I was not working with anybody that whole time. The only people I somewhat considered myself working with was Harry and Garrett, but I wasn't really lined up with them the entire race other than the very opening laps.
All right, about 10-4. That's William Schmidt, and the number 79 rounds itself out third. Before we let you go, any sponsors want to thank you for tonight?
5th week in a row, no sponsor. So, no, I don't.
Unfortunately. William Schmidt in the number 79 rounds himself out third. Go ahead and see you coming to our next race, man.
All right, thank you.
That'll be it here for tonight's event, as I need to go ahead and get my stuff set up for work here for tonight. Congratulations to the 89 of Mitch Hobbs. Again, I want to appreciate everybody for tuning in here for tonight's ACOG Super Speedway League. But until next time, my name is EZECKIEL Reyes. Dewey Schramm pulling out a bit early from the broadcast booth. Till next time, we will see you for next week's finale.